Spurs 3, Liverpool 6. The numbers themselves, Gary, are remarkable and noteworthy, and we'll have a good old chat about them. But Liverpool's performance beyond those numbers was quite something, was it not?
Yeah, is that my Christmas gift?
It is exactly that.
Yeah, I actually thought for the first 30-35 minutes was the best period of football I've seen from a team all season. Having been here the other night against Spurs, watching them get over the line against United in that game that they played in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, I just thought Liverpool would be all over them, and they were at it from minute one. They really were, in every single way. Really good concentration on the defending part, because I think Tottenham can be dangerous, and we've seen that obviously in the second half, or parts of the first half as well, but towards the end. But that first 40 minutes, when you can win the match and you're really sort of grabbing a game by the scruff of the neck, they really did that in every single way, and it was a very, very good performance in the first half. Second half, again, they were outstanding for 15-20 minutes, and then you can always get a little bit slack and a little bit sometimes bored when you're such a good team and Tottenham can go and score a goal. But no, this was a really good day for Liverpool.
I think we have to cover off Spurs. You've seen them twice here in 3 or 4 days, 3-4 and 3-6. What are you thinking?
Yeah, and watched them against City 4-0 a few weeks ago as well. So, I mean, look, to play in that Tottenham defence in the way in which they play, the demands they put on their defenders to push up the pitch as high as they do, the way in which they all press, they've got a really exciting front six. But I did put a clip in during the second half, which we don't normally do, which is showing Son make a silly press towards Joe Gomez and the ball getting played past him over to Trent Alexander-Arnold. They do some stupid things like that, which almost forces the fullbacks then to jump out and press. And then it all of a sudden leaves a situation like the third goal, I think it was, when Spence had gone forward and then Archie Gray ends up over on this left side here, and Dragerson then's in the middle and goes in and loses the header to Szoboszlai. Overcommitting at a point where you've no chance of actually winning the ball as wide players and defenders, that's a nonsense, that. So I'm all for, if you can continually high press, which you can't, by the way. It's impossible to high press a full football match. Absolutely impossible. You have to pick points when you're training. I don't think Tottenham do that. But what they did today, they had some experienced players up top. I think Son was one of the worst, actually, and I love him to bits. World-class player. But some of his actual decisions to actually leave Trent Alexander-Arnold, go and press Joe Gomez, or go somewhere else, and then leave that space for Trent Alexander-Arnold to go into, was just nonsensical. It's just mind-boggling, really. So, yeah, I think we can talk a lot about Spurs, but to be a defender in that team, I wouldn't like to be a defender in that team. I really wouldn't. I played in a team sometimes where you were expected to be one-on-one and you get exposed, and we asked a lot of our defenders, but I think they ask so much because they're so high, which means you've got spacing behind you there if there are quick players, but you've got quality on the ball, which Liverpool have. You've always got that threat of being picked off and having to chase back to your own goal against the likes of Diaz and Salah and Gakpo and Jota. And I wouldn't want to be doing that. And yeah, so look, there's a lot of things about Spurs I like. I love the style of play. The quality of their football is fantastic, to be honest. It's hard to play football that well, and Ange Postecoglou needs great credit for that. But they don't make good decisions sometimes on the pitch. They've obviously got to get the players back. They've got 10 injuries. And it should be mentioned. I think every other manager does, to be fair, mention that a lot more than Ange Postecoglou does. You know, he's got Romero and Van der Ven, his two best centre-halves out. They're both quick, they're both aggressive. And if they're in the team, it's a completely different game, that today. You know, Liverpool aren't scoring 6 against Van der Ven and Romero, and probably Vicario in net. So there are big factors, but I just hope that the pressure doesn't build too much here. And I hope that obviously now these semi-finals in January, I hope they can get to a final. That's just because not because it's Liverpool. I just hope Tottenham can get to a final. And on the other side, I hope that Newcastle can as well. I want these clubs, great clubs like Villa, Everton, Newcastle, Tottenham, to win trophies. You want to win trophies. You want to see these teams win trophies if it's not your own team. So let's see what happens in the next 4 or 5 weeks. But it's a big one for Spurs.